The movie begins as we see the protagonist of the movie, a formal villain named Gru, and his minions attending a ceremony at his old school, Lychee Pabon Villain School. Once there, he met his old foe Maxime Lumal, who had his song presentation stolen by Gru as a child and has plotted revenge ever since. Maxime, who was mocking Gru, was then called up as the winner of that year Villain of the Month, where he showed his new project of using cockroach parts to make himself more powerful, in a bid to conquer the entire world. But Gru, alongside with the rest of Anti-Villain League, arrests him, as Maxime then promised Gru that he would be back. Few weeks after the incident, Gru was playing with his son when they suddenly heard their doorbell ring, which turns out to be the leader of the Anti-Villain League, Silas Ramsbottom, who came to tell Gru that Maxime has escaped from prison and that him and his family would have to be moved to a safe house in a different town named Mayflower under a new identity, and that the Anti-Villain League would also take the majority of the minions with them. As the dust settles, we then see Maxime, who was at an underground layout full of cockroach, as he thanked them, and also his girlfriend Valentina for helping him escape, as he then talks about his evil plan of turning Gru's son into a cockroach. At the new town, Gru and his family were giving new identity and jobs, where Gru now has to be a salesman who works at a solar panel industry, and his wife a hair stylist, as she brags about being good at her new job. The following day, Gru, who was taking his daughter to school, decided to talk to their next-door neighbor, where he introduced himself as Chad. The neighbor, who did not seem interested in the conversation, also introduced himself as Prescott, and also his daughter Poppy, who paid no attention to Gru nor her daughter as the drive off. Gru has dropped his daughter at her school when he sees Poppy walking into the same school building and called up to her, but she lets out an evil smile as she walks into the school building. Meanwhile, at the anti-villain headquarters, Silas Ramsbottom selects 5 minions to be used in an experiment which will turn them to super minions to help save the town. The scene then shifts to Gru's wife, who had started working at the hair salon and was praised by her boss after seeing her portfolio. Just then a woman walks in, who wants her hair made urgently. Seeing no one else qualified for the job, Gru's wife boss recommended the lady to her. It turns out that Gru's wife knows nothing about hairdressing, as she ends up burning the woman's hair and the shop also. At night, Gru came out of the house to take out their trash when someone suddenly calls his name, which turns out to be Poppy. Here Poppy threatened to tell everyone at the town that Gru was once a villain. All else he helps her pull off a heist, which Gru agreed on. The next morning, Gru also bumped into their neighbor again and called out to him, but Prescott, seeing Gru, tried to run away but was suddenly pulled towards Gru by his wife, who invited Gru and his wife to play a tennis game with them the following day. After they left, Gru's wife asked Gru whether he can play tennis, which he doubtably agreed to, before she hands him baby Gru as she leaves for the market. Meanwhile, Maxime's girlfriend, who has gotten tired of looking for Gru, asked Maxime while he has a grudge on Gru, as Maxime then explained that Gru has stolen the song he wanted to sing on a talent show in their school and made him look stupid in front of the whole school. Just then their aircraft runs out of fuel, so they decided to go down to refill it. At the filling station, Maxime was angry because the machine was not accepting his card and decides to go meet the salesman. The salesman, who did not pay attention to Maxime's complaint, ended up being turned to a cockroach. Cut to Gru's wife, who was shopping at the supermarket when she suddenly noticed that the woman whom she had burnt her hair was also at the supermarket, but before she could escape, the woman who had seen her suddenly chased after her and her kids, but due to her excellent skills as a spy, she was able to get rid of the danger. After a black screen, we are then been shown Gru, who had met with Poppy, as she gets to open up to Gru about not liking her school and wants to steal Principal Lychee Pabon's honey badger so that she can be enrolled into the villain school. Gru agrees, and the duo, alongside 2 minions and Gru Jr., leaves for the mission. Once at the school, Gru noticed that the minions have brought only Gru Jr. napkins and leave the tools they are supposed to work with behind. Gru, who found a pin in the bag, successfully used it to open up a way for them to get inside the building. Once inside the building, Gru and his crew was chased around by the honey badger, which was later captured thanks to Gru Jr. They were about to leave when the school principal noticed that someone has broken into her house. She chased after Gru and his crew, but was suddenly shot a baby cream at her eyes by Gru, as she then lost control of her vehicle and got stuck to a wall with her frame on it. Why Gru and his crew were able to get back home by using the school principal aircraft. Unfortunately, the school's principal Belschlecht uses the security cameras to identify Gru and ultimately tell Maxime of Gru's whereabouts. The following day, Gru and Lucy goes out to play tennis with the Prescotts. While they are out, The school principal pays a visit to the house as she interrogates the girls about Gru's location. Margot, one of Gru's daughters, texts Gru and his wife as they rush back home to fight off the principal. Lucy, Gru's wife, contacts the Anti-Villain League, who gets the Mega Minions to help stop Maxime, who was on his way to Gru's house. At Gru's house, while no one is looking, Gru Jr. sneaks out of the house only to get captured by Maxime and Valentina, his girlfriend. Poppy helps Gru meet with Maxime, where he reveals that he has transformed Gru Jr. into a cockroach hybrid. Maxime, who uses Gru Jr. to fight off Gru. However, Gru manages to convince his son to break out of his trance as he turns on Maxime and attacks him instead. Maxime collapses to the ground, who then gets squashed by the Mega Minions, and also with the help of other animals. Now all safe, Gru and the family arrive back home, and Dr. Nefario helps turn Gru's son back to normal. Gru then goes to visit Maxime in prison, and the duo settle their differences. Gru and Maxime then go on to perform Everybody Wants to Rule the World at a prison for all of the criminals there, including Gru's former adversaries. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. See you in the next recap. Bye.